Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Out of the Dark, a Hong Kong comedy horror flick from 1995 that stars Stephen Chow and Karen Mok. Now this is about a mental patient who escapes an institution and thinks that he is a hitman ghostbuster. So he comes to the aid of residents in a Hong Kong apartment complex who are haunted by a vengeful spirit. Now Chow, Stephen Chow, plays Leo, a mental patient ghostbuster, who is a parody of the character Leon from the 1994 French film The Professional. He even talks to his plant for assistance. Now Karen Mok plays Kwan, a curious young girl who gets caught up with all the spooky situations in the apartment complex, and the pair of them are eventually joined by a brigade of quirky security guards in an attempt to get rid of the evil lurking in the haunted apartment building. Now, Out of the Dark is not a film for everyone. Now, it's very manic and silly right from the opening scene, and some of the humor could be seen as inappropriate at times. It's not as funny as Chow's more popular films, such as Shaolin Soccer or Kung Fu Hustle, or my personal favorite Stephen Chow film, From Beijing with Love. One reason for that is that he simply served as an actor in Out of the Dark, whereas he was the director and screenwriter of all of the aforementioned films. But with that said, this still feels like a Stephen Chow movie, and his style of humor is certainly on display. It's kind of hard to explain his style of humor. If you've seen any of Stephen Chow's films, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's kind of a blend of slapstick humor, nonsensical gags, and Chow's character is usually very deadpan, despite the absurdity of everything that's going on around him, and the fact that everyone else is like overreacting to everything. But I think that style of humor works with Chow as the lead. He plays off of it very well. Now sometimes, however, Hong Kong humor can be pretty obnoxious and cringeworthy, especially if you've seen some Hong Kong comedies from back in the day. Actually, a lot of Wong Jing's films I would consider to be obnoxious and cringeworthy. But Out of the Dark, thankfully, avoids that fate, in my opinion. Even the less funny stuff in this film is still amusing to a degree. And there are some legitimately chuckle-worthy moments to enjoy as well. There's one highlight is a funny knife stabbing. It doesn't sound like a funny moment, but it actually is. And then there's like an attempted resuscitation of the victim that I thought was pretty hilarious. That was a pretty good scene. I think the enjoyability of this film actually increases as it progresses because it leads to like an over-the-top finale that's very entertaining. Lots of running around from the characters in this film, wacky shenanigans involving the ghosts. So it's kind of like a higher energy comedy. Out of the Dark certainly moves at a brisk pace, that's for sure. And then it's kind of hard to be bored while watching this. Even if you don't like it, it's hard to be bored by it. It's certainly not a boring film. The horror elements are implemented in fun ways too. It does have some spooky atmosphere, especially near the beginning and the end, with some blue and red lighting. So if you're a scaredy cat who doesn't like horror films, you don't have to worry about this. It never gets scary at any point. And it's always kind of lighthearted and humorous along the way. There is a little bit of blood splatter at times, but it's used for, comedic effect, so it's not that bad. Another reason I get a kick out of this film is because it's a very early role from Karen Mok. Now, she's not an actress that most Westerners follow. Her filmography really isn't all that impressive if you look at the films that she's been in. But I've always been a fan of hers because I saw her in the action film So Close, directed by Corey Yuen, back in the early 2000s, and I really liked that film. So I've been following her career since then. So it's really fun to watch her in this really early role, just because I'm a fan of this actress. And she actually brings a bit of energy and creativity to her role. I like her facial expressions too. She has a lot of really funny facial expressions that rival Chow's in this film, so that's good. So if you're someone who hates like manic, crazy comedies that move really fast, you should probably skip this one. But, if you're a fan of Stephen Chow, or you're feeling like a loony horror comedy to enjoy, check it out. I think it's worth a look. It's pretty entertaining, and it's only around like 80 minutes long or something like that, so it's very easy to sit through, I think. It's currently available on Amazon Streaming in the United States, and as always, I'll see you next time.